And Are You Okay is a not safe for work podcast, so any young listeners are discouraged from continuing. However, we literally have no way to track that, so do whatever the hell you want and enjoy the show.
You can still compare them though. But it's acting so glitchy. Okay, the choices is real.
Taxis will come, but they real slow.
Uber is not around here. Taxis will come, but they real slow. T-minus
brain gotta poop. T-minus 5 to the brain gotta shit.
T-minus 5 to the brain gotta shit.
It is...
Never gets old,
okay, the
man.
choices are clear, ho, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's what I think. Rachel thinks that that's not the line, and I think we got into I was like, yeah, he's calling her a hoe, but
yeah, pretty
more like in a playful way. You know?
No, because hold on, I'm trying to because I know he says Ubers are not around here, ho. So I don't know if he would have rhymed ho with ho. Maybe ho isn't the word.
Maybe
I thought it was. I feel like because I don't think he says ho twice, but he definitely says ho one of them times.
Doesn't he say Ubers are not around here, ho? Taxis
that's what
but they real slow.
That's what I thought. But then what is the first part that he says when he said, okay, unless the choices are real? Dang, what did he say?
Maybe you're right. You know, we have Google, but I refuse to look this up.
Yo, me too. I've listened to this song way too many times to look this up, bro.
It's just not happening. And we haven't made pillow talking reference on And Are You Okay?
A Star Wars podcast
in a while, so it's natural it's going to happen. And we fucked up our streak of mentioning Jeremy. What's up, Jeremy?
Damn, no, we did.
We did. How you doing, buddy?
I'm fucking devastated, dog.
We still love you.
I'm so upset. Damn.
He reached out to me. He wasn't mad, but he said we've been killing it with these episodes. So I just wanted to, we appreciate it.
We fucking guy, Jeremy. Damn.
I keep saying we have to have you two in the same room, but we still have to get you and Siebes in the same room.
Fact though.
Speaking of which, we're bringing our guy back, one of the founders.
The return.
Animaniacs, do not worry, one of the founders of And Are You Okay? We'll be back soon to do a really fun episode that Matt cooked up. Do you want to? Should we tell him, or do you?
Yeah, fuck it. No, we can talk to him. We can talk to him.
Okay,
give him reason to come back.
Yeah. So, just I guess a show schedule update for you guys. We are going to, in honor of the NBA season, kind of in full swing. We've decided to draft, basketball teams, a Sith man, as we're calling it, and a coach. And Siebes is going to be joining us.
A team of 7.
And we're not going to be able to double up on characters. So if someone takes their character, that's it. You got to
have contingencies.
So we're very much looking forward to that. And we still got a big powerhouse episode coming later. Our holiday special that we did not deem holiday special in when we recorded it, but a big chunky one. Yeah. I know, it's so many. Matt's just out here recording left and right. He doesn't know which way's up or down anymore. But that's how much this man grinds.
We doing a 2-a-day on Monday. Me and over at D4L, our sister pod.
Yeah, brother.
Working hard and hardly working.
Shout out to the D4L team, especially Paul finally started to add his sound into the end of DB4L episodes, because I don't want to say I've taken a back seat, but I've definitely been sharing a lot of those responsibilities lately, and it gives me more time to do this. So I really appreciate that. And
he's been doing such a great job.
Yeah, we're happy, and I know that everyone's working really hard on that portion of things. So please go over. I listened to I don't care what time of day you're listening to this. If you're listening to it, we did an amazing 2-part interview with Caustic Phoenix, and by we I mean Matt and Trav.
Shout out to Bex.
and specifically part 2 is a really fun one.
So much fun. Yeah.
If you've ever wanted to dabble in Dungeons and Dragons or have played Dungeons and Dragons and just want to hear her GM style, it is honestly one of the most fun interviews I think we have ever done. So please go check that out.
Hands down, one of the funnest times I've had doing an interview across any platform that I've done interview formats for. It was a ball, and I cannot wait until we do the live stream Dungeons and Dragons full on campaign where Paul said he's trying to come, and I was like, if he's serious, that would be awesome.
We will be definitely telling our audience about that. I feel like there's definitely a clear overlap.
1000%.
That episode of DB4L is one you don't have to be a big anime fan to enjoy that interview. So highly recommend. If anime is not your cup of tea, just come and check out that one because it's a really fun one. All right. Well, I'm Mikey, here at Annie Are You Okay? I'm with my guy
himself,
Rogue One,
always
Matthew Porter. He's always checked in. And we have a tiny little news that came out. It's not really tiny. It's actually quite a big deal. But we're gonna mention it and we'll talk about it on a future episode.
Before we hit the record button. You scared me. I thought something bad happened.
Our guy Dave Filoni and she's like kind of a mastermind behind the scene, has always been very present force at Lucasfilm. One of the people who is very responsible for shows like Rebels and The Bad Batch and a lot of things that have been going on. Carrie Beck, they both received promotions. Dave Filoni is now the chief creative officer at Lucasfilm. Long story short, they're essentially pulling him in at the inception phase of projects to help them develop shows, which he's going to be kind of acting like Kevin Feige in that way, where he's going to be helping people develop their ideas to fit within the Star Wars universe, not stopping them from making them. That was kind of like a big part of the Variety articles. I think a lot of people were worried, he's just going to be, shoehorning Ahsoka and everything. No, that's not the goal. Like, this dude just knows.
And if he did, it'd be awesome.
I would be upset. But he knows Star Wars. So on such a philosophical level, he is the Padawan to George. I think it makes a lot of sense to have him have involvement and help these people make sure that their stuff fits in universe. It feels like a logical extension and promotion for him. If he was to go up, this feels like the role he should be in. And then Carrie Beck, head of development, she is going to be responsible for bringing in the talent that is making these Star Wars stories. And I think it's maybe going to be at a little bit more of a smaller scale in terms of what they're doing on Disney Plus, and the movies will probably still be helmed by Kathleen Kennedy. But let's be real, just having both these people who've been at Lucasfilm for a long time continue to do this really hard work is just going to provide us with a lot of great stories to come. Shameless plug here. I know that it's a Star Wars podcast, but how do we not talk? We don't talk about it enough. But if you haven't watched Bad Batch, one of the best Star Wars stories to come out in the last
easily. Rekka?
Yeah. It's so crazy how powerful that show is, having only had 2 seasons, and it will be having its 3rd final season in 2024. So
excited.
And I know Carrie Beck was heavily involved in that one. So great to have it. We'll throw in a little spoiler warning right here, just in case. You never know what's going to come up on this podcast, so we just got to do it. And we're into the prequel edition,
part 3
of Matt's wonderful idea to recast the big 3+1. And
I think it's them. We hardly know him.
He said the thing. He said it. This week we're doing big 3+4 or +3, not 4. Yeah. The prequels were too big not to recast some other iconic characters. So we did this with the sequel trilogy last week with 90s heartthrobs / prominent actors. We did it with the original trilogy using modern day actors, but we are going to recast them. I hardly know them, using only actors that have worked with one of our favorite directors, Christopher Nolan. Yes. And I'm very, very, very excited. We decided to go quote unquote hard mode, and we're not using Leo because I feel like there was a lot of...
It's too easy.
It's too easy. We know he was almost cast as Anakin, so we were just like, let's push that out of the way. Let's focus on some of the other actors. And, prior to doing this, I probably should have been like, we also maybe shouldn't have included Oppenheimer, because holy shit, that cast is just fucking robust. But
the way that I'm okay with us not doing that is because, like, outside of like Robert Downey Jr. and a couple other people, like essentially that's the whole cast of The Dark Knight, like the Batman, Batman trilogy series. Yeah, essentially all the same actors. He's definitely a creature of comfort. Christopher Nolan is.
Yeah, he knows. I think he like almost writes stories with people he's worked with in mind.
Oh yeah, 1,000.
And clearly the actors love working with him because they keep going back. So
every time.
I have an actor I want to, or not an actor, a character that I want to start with.
Okay.
I'll see if you're fucking with the same vibe, or if we should go in a different
direction.
direction.
If I fuck with the war? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we usually be simpatico with these things.
I kind of want to start with Qui-Gon.
Me too. He's at the top of my list. Yeah.
So let's be clear. He's not part of the big three. The big three were considering Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme. Correct.
But
Qui-Gon is being such a big role in the Phantom Menace. Like
he literally moved the story forward.
Exactly. He picked it up so that others could take it where it needed to go. Exactly.
Hey everybody, so Obi-Wan could hello there.
Yeah, that's a good one. I might make that the title of the episode.
I would.
But I'll go first. This man, to me, really right now, I think he's kind of like, if they were to do it today, I think he could easily slide into the role. For some reason, you can make him look like he's 60 or 40 because he's just built like this. But really, genuinely feel like Hugh Jackman.
Oh,
be great as Qui-Gon. He has the serious chops to do it, and he has a quirkiness to him that I think
he has a great beard. He has an amazing beard.
He also has a great beard. So in one of the most, I think, underrated films in Christopher Nolan's catalog of films, The Prestige, he does great job in that movie.
Love The Prestige.
But we also, a lot of people know him from his roles as Logan in X-Men and
Jean Valjean.
Jean Valjean, of course. But yeah, I just think that he'd be a great Qui-Gon to shepherd along the Obi-Wan of my cast, and in addition to that, be that sacrificial lamb that really propels everything forward. And I just think that he has a level of depth that Qui-Gon has, but there's also like a kind-heartedness to him that really comes through, I feel like, in a lot of his performances that I think fit the role for Qui-Gon. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Hugh Jackman for my Qui-Gon casting.
I love that choice. So for my entire list, I tried to intentionally avoid like megastars. So like Hugh, by my assumption, got eliminated because of that. But I do love that choice. That is great. So for Qui-Gon, I wanted to go with the actor. So for me, Qui-Gon's most glaring personality trait for me is kind of like his stoicism, like his indifference. Like he's very zen. He's very like with the wind. Like and Liam Neeson portrayed that very, very well. Like he was very even keeled the whole movie. Like he rarely lost his cool, never really went up or down either direction in terms of like his temperament. Very I feel like Qui-Gon's temperament embodied like what Jedis wanted to be, like what their aspiration was, like being Switzerland, like we're neutral type time. He embodied that very well. So I went with a one Ken Watanabe as Qui-Gon.
That is a really interesting choice. I also chose Ken Watanabe for another role. We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I picked Ken Watanabe. For some reason, I just went back to his character from like Last Samurai, and I just kind of see him as like an older shogun, wise David Carradine, kung fu master type of Jedi. Like, with I see him with the same hairstyle and everything, like the same Qui-Gon top knot, ponytail, with like little pepper, little salt and pepper gray beard. I just feel like Ken Watanabe like is an embodiment of like what a Jedi would be like in a movie theater, like in terms of like his at his zenness.
I feel you, and I'm not going to take away. I do agree with where you're coming from, but I feel like this is a natural way for me to kind of progress into who I cast him as. So we'll move on to the next character, but I do agree with you. Like, I did choose him for his stoicness, but there's also a pensiveness to Ken Watanabe. He very much feels to me like there's a reserved level of complexity to him, and there's no character in the prequels, in my opinion, who embodies that more than Mace Windu.
Oh, I like it.
And I thought Ken Watanabe would be a fantastic Mace Windu. For so many reasons, I feel like, and this might just be the versatility of Ken Watanabe, but I think he can fit both.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there's, for me, what really, I think, made me think Mace Windu was his performance in Inception. But to your point about his role in The Last Samurai, he also is the fake Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begins. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, the samurai elements are so strong. Yeah, and that to me is very Qui-Gon-esque as well. So I agree with you that he could definitely be Qui-Gon, but I think, like, for me, I would
like him as Mace. I like that a lot, actually. I like that. I fuck with that big time.
I would like to hear, now that we've moved on to Mace Windu.
We can stay with Mace.
Yeah.
So I kept it at the cookout. If I'm going to take the job away from a black man, I'm going to give it to another one. Mm-hmm. So for me, not so much more his pensiveness. So I honestly didn't look too hard, but I was looking for like a loophole in which Samuel L. Jackson had worked with Christopher Nolan. I was just going to recast him again.
I love it.
Cause he's so good. Like
no. I think that we have, like, maybe disclaimer here. Like, I love all of the actors, like, in the prequels, sequels, original trilogy. This was just a fun little exercise we're doing, but I wouldn't have even been mad at you if I'm being completely honest.
If I could have found it, I would have made it happen. I definitely looked.
We did a whole segment about being called a motherfucker in previous episodes, so
exactly
they know that love for Samuel L. Jackson is strong here at Area. Okay.
So one thing that I always loved about Samuel L. Jackson, so for me, in every role Samuel L. Jackson has ever done, is like you feel the Samuel L. Jackson in his performances. Mm-hmm. For me, and I'm sure there might be other performances, like if I really like thought about it, but like for me, number one with a bullet, Mace Windu has always stood out as I feel like he purposely wanted to get away from being Samuel L. Jackson. He's just like, yo, I'm in Star Wars. I know how big this is. I know how the fan base is. I'm supposed to be a Jedi. It's not motherfucker this or dank ferric that. Like the pensiveness that you were talking about. Something that I always loved about Mace Windu's portrayal, well, Samuel L. Jackson's portrayal of Mace Windu was like, he spoke a lot with his eyes. Like he did talk a lot, especially like as he progressed in the prequel trilogy, but like a lot of his like, have a seat, young Skywalker. Like a lot of it was in the eyeballs. Like
this party's over.
Exactly. Yeah. It wasn't a lot of inflection. So I thought of an actor who has really good facial cues, like who has like when they just getting a look, it's like, oh, so I'm gonna butcher his last name, but I went with David Oyelowo. I'm totally gonna fuck his name. Yeah. A lot of people. He was in a lot of shit, but he was the guy who got left in space in Interstellar. Was one of his roles for Christopher Nolan. I believe he was something else in a Christopher Nolan movie. I can't remember.
I'd have to double check. He's so good in Interstellar. That's like one of those things. It's like, obviously he doesn't die when they go down to the planet, but it is like kind of heartbreaking when his performance is so good when they go back up. Yeah,
when he's like got the gray beard and everything.
Yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh, so much time has passed. Like they went down to do the thing, but like he made a sacrifice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big time for them to be able to do that.
So he wasn't in another Christopher Nolan movie, but another movie that a lot of people might know him from, the Cloverfield Paradox. That was the one that went right to Netflix. He also was in Les Mis. Look at that. A lot of people. And he was like the dirty cop in Jack Reacher. That might be like the biggest like commercially movie people would probably know him from. But he is an actor who does very well. He was also the voice of Scar in like the live action or the CGI CGI Lion King. Great. Yeah, he's an amazing actor, but I feel like his eyes, like he does a lot of eye acting, like in terms of like his like non-verbals are very well, and I can just see him like on the council when Anakin's talking his shit, and he's just like, have a seat. Like I just see oh shit, damn, let me sit down, bro. Like, for sure. But yeah, I picked him. David O, the big O.
I love it. I think definitely has the gravity to do that, and he's like, while Mace Windu does talk more as the prequels progress, there is always a lot of weight to what he's saying.
Yeah.
And he is the one who is like most against Anakin out of all the Jedi. I think you need someone who can come off like a dick. It's so necessary for the story.
1,000%.
But it's 1,000%. Are they really being a dick when they just are like sticking to their convictions?
And technically might be to a fault, but following the rules. Like he was too old. Like, he's just like, it's not personal. He's just too old.
Yeah, and he does follow the rules to I think that's the breaking point, right? Where it's like in episode 3 when he's like, he's too dangerous to be kept alive. It's like, dog, all you do is preach the code and you're about to break it. That's kind of like the thing that I guess pushes Anakin over the edge ultimately.
And that's so funny that you said that, because like I've kind of like had that conversation. I think we might have talked about this like off mic before. Just like, had it not been Mace that went, it would have went completely different.
I think we talked about this on an episode.
Yeah, I think we did. It's kind of from Ray. Like, Anakin being like, yo, you always follow the rules. My trust in the Jedi is shaken, and you about to break a rule? Oh yeah, it's going to shit.
It's over.
Going to the Sith. taking my talents to South Beach. He said, I'm out. He said, I'm out. So I'm really excited about like the next 4. Like I honestly don't care who we do next. Like I'm really excited about.
So we decided to go with Palpatine as one plus and he's the plus side of things. So we can pop into that next.
Save the big 3 for the last 3. I'm rolling.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me your Palpatine.
So for Ian McShane's obviously the guy, like the man's like, you can't replace from a Jedi. You can't replace all that. Man, this is amazing. So, but I wanted to keep an actor. This is probably one of the bigger actors that I did pick solely for the gravitas that this man carries and like the infinite range. And I just feel like he would look great in Sith robes. I picked Gary Oldman as my Sheev.
I love that pick. It's Gary Oldman could definitely do it. And he's also like, I think, the role that really, really, really makes me feel like this, and they're not similar characters, but the way he acts as Sirius Black, I feel like gives me how like he's a bit frantic in his movement and motions, like in those films. I feel like Sidious, if he moved around like that, would be scary.
I like that. Yeah. Like how he was in Prisoner of Azkaban, like all kind of like loopy and shit. Yeah. I fuck with that.
So I love that pick. I think that'd be fucking phenomenal portrayal. Plus he's a little bit older. I admittedly the actor I picked is much younger. I think it still works, but like
I was shopping around looking younger, and then I was like, I gotta go Gary.
Dude, it's so weird. Like Palpatine's one of those characters because that he's keeping himself alive using the dark side of the Force, it doesn't quite matter whether they present as old or not.
It's ambiguous.
Yeah. But still, I think Gary Oldman has this. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's a switch that I feel like he can do to go from being good guy, bad guy in any role that he's in.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Definitely is a testament to his versatility. He's a fantastic Commissioner Gordon, but there's none of that in what I think we would see in a performance of Palpatine from him.
Yeah, I like your take on him kind of being the Sirius Black in Prisoner of Azkaban, kind of off his rocker and shit, or even it would be a way far left portrayal, but even how he was as the main antagonist in a Book of Eli, just kind of a person that sits back and sends everybody else to go do it, but if you push him, he's crazy.
Well, so speaking to that switch, right? because you do have to switch from good to bad if you're playing Palpatine.
Yeah.
The amount of range he would be able to have going from like just a lowly senator who happens to become chancellor,
likable-ish, like
to this
charming,
man who
very
is
charming,
flipping, jumping all over the room like Yoda. Like, dude, that is. I think if there's anyone who could pull it off, it's him, and that's kind of wild. I think the person I went with definitely more his political arena type character. But I chose to go with Guy Pearce.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that, actually.
This man is a much better actor.
He does the slick back hair very well.
Yeah.
I like
He's a much
that.
better actor than people give him.
Oh, 1,000%. Guy Pearce is super slept on.
I think that people see Iron Man 3 and they're like, this guy's nothing. Like, and no, go watch Memento. Like,
fucking Memento? Yeah, well, by 1 second you got me.
Yeah, this man has chops. He could definitely do it, and he can play a villain for sure.
My man was the fucking doofy side bad guy in Bedtime Stories with Adam Sandler, and it was fucking hilarious.
But there is something that in Guy Pearce's like demeanor that just screams to me like, this guy is evil. I don't know what it is. Like he can definitely do a bad guy. I feel
weirdly, I feel like it's his teeth. Like he has like bad, like
sure.
like a villain snarl. Like he just has like bad guy looking teeth. Yeah. Like he has a great grin for like a Palpatine grin. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could just see him like having these. I think the way he in every film, whenever he has dialogue, he's like, I think he could be very convincing with what he's trying to say and like get across to people, and like there's a level of charisma that I think Palpatine needs as well, and I think that he has that. So from like a political standpoint, I feel like he would nail it. Him as Sidious maybe more of a stretch, I guess. I could definitely see Gary Oldman doing a much better job,
like the Sidious side of it.
Yeah, with the Sidious part of the role. But yeah, that was my pick for Palpatine, and I
love that. Yeah,
I feel like people forget that he exists, but he's out there.
It's like he is. You know what's funny? Like it's different now because we hold this actor in like such high esteem now, like post Superman. But like Guy Pearce and like Michael Shannon's careers like were very similar to me. It's like he's like I don't want to say the good old boy, but he's like a reliable actor to hire for some shit. It's just like, all right, if I need you to be a side character, you got me. Like you're not too big that it's weird that you're just a side character. But if I need you to star in a movie, your name has enough cachet. They're like, oh yeah, Guy Pearce, I fuck with Guy Pearce. Like I like moments, so I'll watch this movie. And I feel like pre-playing Zod, that was like Michael Shannon's career. Like he was in everything. You're like, oh shit, Michael Shannon. Like I love Michael Shannon. Like it was like we talked about this shit. We talked about it multiple times. Like you got that movie that you have so many fond memories of, you love, but you're never gonna get around to watching it. It's like Michael Shannon's like, oh, I love Michael Shannon. I'm about to watch a Michael Shannon movie. Like you don't say that, but But now, ever since he plays Zod, it's like Michael Shannon is like a super in demand person. But I look at Guy Pearce like that. Like he's just like, all right, he's a reliable person to have in your movie. He can carry a movie. He can also just ride the bench if you need him to. But he's reliable. He's counted on. Oh, faithful.
I think nobody expected it. Like I think it's hard to take someone super serious when they're yelling in a movie. Yet, I've never been more intimidated by anything than Michael Shannon screaming. I will find him in Man of Steel, and everyone knows how much I hate Superman. So if I'm giving that movie props, then
I feel
you know it's good.
I feel you. So I feel like it's kind of obvious that Anakin should go last. Like the chosen one should go last. So do we want to go Padme next? Do we want to go Obi-Wan next?
I want to go Obi-Wan next. I'll give you my reason.
All right.
So much of the prequels, in my opinion, hinges on Anakin and Padme's relationship that I really do feel like they are the most important. However, Obi-Wan has just as much importance. So I think that because of the romantic factor, I want to do Anakin and Padme back to back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with that.
People aren't forgetting about it. But
I like that.
For Obi-Wan, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So one thing that I will say, I don't think I chose these characters really thinking that they would be each other's screen partner. Like the age isn't the issue. Just like closing my eyes and looking at who I picked for Anakin, who I picked for Obi-Wan. I think you could make it work, but it probably, like, you definitely got to play the brother role that they ended up going with, not the father-son role.
Yeah, and I think that's more natural for their relationship.
Yeah.
I also think that, and I think we've talked about this before, but I think that if you took the time gap for the Phantom Menace to Attack of the Clones, like, while it makes sense for it to be that long, I don't think it had to have been that long.
Right.
So if Anakin was aged up, I think the story might have benefited from that.
I got you.
However, so in your instance, let's just say that's how it is. I think it might make more sense.
I feel like it's a sleeper pick, but then if you like, oh yeah, no, that's a good one. So I went with somebody who has developed a very historic, infamous career on being cast as a character that no one would have thought that he would have performed well in, and bodied it. For my Obi-Wan Kenobi, I picked the legendary, the late great Heath Ledger is who I chose for my Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I struggled not picking him for one of the roles because he is so good. I couldn't, I was like you said, people think that he's not going to be good in these roles, and then he just comes in and embodies it.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I was back and forth between him for Anakin. And then when I picked my Anakin, I was like, yeah, no, he's for Obi-Wan for sure.
He definitely crossed my mind for Anakin. Did not make my ultimate pick. He's not in my list, but
got it.
Like I said, it was hard. I thought about him for a couple of roles, and this was one of them that I didn't quite see, but I can totally see it.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, from a brother standpoint, he's younger. He was usually the face of the film, but he proved so much in The Dark Knight that he didn't need to be
exactly
the face. Everything he
be an auxiliary player
can come through just because his performance is like out of this world.
Exactly. And I was also thinking about it in the same way as Ewan McGregor stayed with the character through all three movies. Like Heath Ledger is old enough but looks young enough to like be able just to play him in all three movies. Like
absolutely.
You could be the Padawan and then also be, you know, the Jedi Master in the other two and whatnot. And I don't think I've ever seen him with facial hair, but not all Jedis need beards.
Yeah. And I think if that's what the movie called for, he probably would have done it and done it great. Like you said, like I think that just due to the nature of how he approached his roles, he always took it super seriously. Like I could see them getting in the like mode to play Obi-Wan and really just kind of like exuding and being the Jedi everyone wishes they were. You know what I mean? I think that's what like Obi-Wan is, and he's the
benchmark of Obi-Wan Kenobi, like
right.
The standard bearer, if you will.
And not to be poetic, but I guess it kind of goes without saying, like it would have been nice if he got to do a role like this instead of something that was so dark that pushed him to the brink of the end. Who knows what a role like this could have done for him as a person, as opposed to kind of like how the Joker destroyed him in a way, but
allegedly,
yeah,
you know, people have gone and said like he was totally fine, like during like in between takes and stuff like that. But we'll never know. It's unfortunately it's
strong
one of those things
pick.
that we'll never get the answer to. But
strong actor.
Because I think so. A big determining factor into why I ultimately did end up going with him is. Chivalrous isn't the word I want to use, but there is, to be super cliche, even though he's a Jedi Knight, there is something very noble about Obi-Wan Kenobi, like knightly, like, you know, like
quite literally a science fantasy Knight of the Round Table.
Yes, 1000%. Like he's like Lancelot personified. Like that's like Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I think to Heath's role in A Knight's Tale, one of my favorite performances.
So good.
And I just think of like, you know, Will, what the fuck was his last name? Will shit. I won't say Will Turner. That's Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Will Thatcher. Yeah, I just think of, like just him being like coming from nothing and turning into a knight by the end of the movie and being so proud and stuff. I feel like he would have been really good as like Phantom Menace Obi-Wan, like Padawan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I have a bad feeling about this. Like all that stuff. Like I feel like he would have been really, really good at that and like evolved with the role. And I would like to see his take. But who you got, buddy?
So I hearkened back to our original trilogy recast and I chose to go with a black actor.
Hey,
because I ultimately ended up casting Jeffrey Wright as an older.
Oh, okay.
And we have had lengthy discussions about this actor off the mic because we have gone back and forth about whether they should recast T'Challa. You already know where I'm going with this.
I'm here with you.
This is one of the best up and coming actors. Everything that they're in, they are fucking amazing in. Typically you don't expect a ex running back in the NFL to come into the acting scene and be as good as they
Ricky
are.
Jarrett.
But when their dad is Denzel Washington, I guess you have no choice but to be the shit. John David Washington as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'll fuck with that.
I think that he would do a really good job. I think that he has the slight comedic time. You know what it is? It's a dry sense of humor, and Obi-Wan to me has a dry sense of humor, but the seriousness of which he needs to take the role and then the levity of some of those moments where he's chastising Anakin, if you will, I think that he'd be fucking incredible in that role, but it's also because he's incredible in everything he does. So yeah, that to me was I wanted to harken back to the Jeffrey Wright casting and put someone else in, but I also I'm just making excuses to put this man. He's also a huge Star Wars fan.
Is he? Yeah, that's awesome.
So
I love that.
Apparently, I read a story about he was in The Creator, which I still have yet to see. When I went to go look
and
for
it
in theaters. It was out of the theaters already.
I'll bet.
So when it hits streaming, I will definitely be checking it out. Rachel and I were really interested in like wanting to see that. But he showed up to the meeting with Gareth Edwards wearing a Star Wars mask. And he was like concerned about it because it was like obviously Gareth Edwards had come off of Rogue One and
right.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see him in that movie. But his performance in Tenet just blew me away. And then also I think after I watched Tenet, I watched Black Klansman
I love Tenet. I've watched that movie so many times. It's Black Klansman's fire too. It's a great movie. Adam Driver, man.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He is pretty amazing.
He's amazing.
So we're obviously gonna do Anakin last, but
so we go Padme, Queen Amidala.
I have 2 for my Padme because I'll explain it when we get there. Unless you want me to go first.
I had one. I knew it. This was my first one. Like when we first started talking about this, like however many weeks ago, automatically knew. Like this is the easiest one out to get out the way. For my Padme, Queen Amidala, I obviously wanted somebody who in the first movie would be able to, don the crown and the makeup and look very regal and royal, but I also needed a badass. I needed somebody who can show the emotional range, cry on cue. And I feel like this woman in every Christopher Nolan movie that she has done has knocked it out of the park with the large amounts of screen time that she's got, or even the small amounts of screen times that she's got. I went with Marion Cotillard.
Me too.
Let's go.
I love her. She is so good.
And weirdly, I feel like her accent would be from Naboo.
No, for sure. Like she's great as Talia al Ghul, but you have to. She is so good in Inception.
Yes, as Maul. Yes,
yeah, as Maul. Like it's so weird because that cast. I love everybody in like the main like heist cast.
Mm-hmm.
But if she's not in that movie, the emotional weight is not there.
1,000%.
Oh my God, she's so good in that film. And yes, there is a regal aspect to her. I think you're right with the accent. Like, she 100% to me could be Padme, and the only reason I picked an alternate is because the person I picked for Anakin is so much younger than her that I'm like, it literally would have to be a fantasy world for them to be cast like across from each other as like romantic interests. Dude, she's 48. She does not look like she's 48.
Get the fuck out of here. She's 48.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Go ahead, Marion.
But she's absolutely incredible actress.
Yes.
Always like.
She's another one that has, it doesn't work for everybody, but like she has really locked in on like the less is more approach. Like when she's like doing her monologue-y speeches, as when she was Talia or when she was like Mal Cobb, like she's saying real heavy shit, or even like in times where she's like communicating like anger, is very subtle and low and quiet, which makes it so much more scary.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you yelling?
Right. There's an intimidation factor.
Yeah.
And like Padme has so much heart.
Mm-hmm.
I think Marion Cotillard has that in spades, but it's the reserved nature of the way she delivers dialogue that would make me take her so much more seriously than someone like Natalie Portman, who I have
1000%.
tremendous respect for.
Absolutely love Natalie Portman.
Yeah, like they're definitely different, but I just think for like the character of Padme, it'd be a different portrayal, but it'd be a really good one. And one kind of like, I think like I said, with the Guy Pearce casting as Palpatine being a little bit politically charged, that is why I think that she'd be a fantastic Padme.
1000%.
Not so much from like the love interest aspect, although she would still be fine with that as well, because in every single Christopher Nolan film that she's in, she is a love interest. And like the romance never feels fake. If anything, she's smitten her like partners into like into the ground.
Big facts. Big facts.
So yeah, I will give you my alternate. We spoke about this briefly. And when I tell you who I cast as Anakin, it will make a lot of sense. But I had to pick Florence Pugh as an alternate because one, the age made more sense. I think you're picking a Florence Pugh for Leia is really, really good. I think she'd fucking kill it as Padme too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartly.
I don't want to say the archetype is exactly the same, but it's pretty damn close. And Florence Pugh is also one of those actresses who I think that you know what? I will fucking say it. Florence Pugh is the younger, more modern day version of Marion Cotillard.
I can see that.
The way that they carry themselves feels similar, and
they have a regalness. Like it's a regalness about them.
Yeah, and I don't think we say that lightly either.
I feel like they smell amazing, like our buddy Jeremy.
Yeah. Lavender and sandalwood.
I'm gonna get you this time, brother. Get you this one. So it's funny that you had an alternate for Padme, because I do have an alternate for Anakin. Like, not so much just for like an age thing, because I'm pretty sure these two actors are probably like very similar to age, but it's just more like an aesthetic thing or an acting style. But do we want to move on? Do we want to move on to the main event? The
main event.
The chosen one. Mm-hmm. All right, I'll go first. So I don't know. Do I want to do my alternative first or who I picked? I'll do my pick because I like my pick. So there's so many things to take into consider when picking an Anakin. Because he's George Lucas has gone on record and say, like his version of Star Wars is about the Skywalkers with him at the center. This was always Anakin's redemption story. He was always going to go to the dark side. He did defeat the Sith, even though they came back very quickly. Bad management by the Republic. Like, that's not Anakin's fault. He was dead. But I wanted to pick an actor who, again, would be somebody I'm discounting Phantom Menace. I'm in my head in this trilogy, this would have just been the same actor. Kind of like what you were saying. Yeah, kind of like what you were saying. Like, it didn't need to be that big of a gap. He could have been like, in some aspects, him being like older than what he was in Phantom Menace makes like Mace's case
yes
more valid. If he was like 13, he's like, yo, my G's a teenager.
And it would connect more to Luke being too old to train.
1000%. 1000%. So I wanted to go with the actor who obviously would be old enough to play the part through all 3 movies, but young enough that they could like, do some, just make him shave, have his hair short to make him seem younger. I also was really big on wanting to pick an actor who does tortured very well. That was probably like my magnum opus for my pick. It's just like, I need someone who's going to sell the inner turmoil. Because we've talked about time and time again that, without the inclusion of Clone Wars, we love Hayden Christensen. Love that man. We loved him when y'all didn't. We've been here. Y'all just coming back. Y'all just coming around some. But we always say that, the change from Hayden Christensen to Darth Vader doesn't feel earned all the time, because now that we have Clone Wars and everything, we get it. Well, his tipping points to me left a lot wanting. It's just like, all right, I get it. His mom died. Yes, he's pissed about that. Oh, they made him a master. They let him sit on the council, but didn't make him a master. All right, that's not enough to slaughter children. So I wanted an actor that I could give me that inner struggle more. So I picked the guy, the one, the only, R-Pat himself, Robert Pattinson.
Oh shit. I don't know what it was. I was just not anticipating Robert Pattinson.
I picked Robert Pattinson for multiple reasons. One, tortured is literally what he does. The whole Twilight saga, angsty, suffering teen, preteen, just having a lot of issues, internal struggles. But then also, we've literally seen him in a cape and cowl. So we know what he would look like, suited up, donning the all black with the cape and everything. So, we got that working for him. But yeah, my big thing was, I'm just such a fan of Robert Pattinson. His reigns, I say all the time, I need to get sponsorship from Good Time, even though that movie came out so long ago, because I always sing that movie's praises. Anytime Robert Pattinson's come up and people be like, oh, he's not the best actor. You seen Good Time? Oh, all right, then don't talk to me about his acting skills. Stop judging him off Twilight.
There's so many more movies that he's in now that it's like Twilight is an asterisk on the.
So many more. But so my 2 biggest things that I wanted to pick him was when he gets to the point that Anakin is starting to crack, I feel like Robert Pattinson does the tortured look very well. Even his nonverbals, I'm suffering. You can see me. You can see the pain in his eyes. But I also feel like he could 1000% pull off the suaveness of Clone Wars General Skywalker. The smoothness, with the coiffed hair and everything. I know he also has the cachet to be to bring the swag to that performance. And like I said, the man can do tortured better than anybody in the industry.
He's got the face for it.
Exactly.
He definitely just
and we seen him with the Sith eyes in Twilight. He's already donned the Sith eyes, like my man said. So it's he literally you could pluck his aesthetic from Twilight.
I was gonna say, from an aesthetic perspective, we've kind of seen it, and I definitely could see it. And it's interesting choice with him and Heath Ledger. I really wonder how. I know you didn't. You said you didn't but
that's why.
Mind,
but that's why I said if they made it the brother relationship, not the father and son that they tried in Clone Wars, but then it's let's make them brothers.
I think because they're so close in age, it'd be really interesting. That dynamic between the two of them would be insane. Good. And also, I feel like it'd be a really good time. So when Obi-Wan says in A New Hope, he's like, "I thought I could train him the way Yoda had trained me," right?
Right.
The hubris that Heath Ledger would have to be this guy's barely he's pretty much my contemporary, but I'm going to teach him everything he knows, and he's that to me that would work really, really well, I think, and both of them would fucking probably kill it. Yeah,
especially in the Clone War era. Maybe before General Kenobi, General Skywalker, but maybe right before he gets the Padawan braid cut off, because they're so close in age. I would have loved to see that. Obi-Wan's trying to teach him something. He's like, bro, what can you teach me? I'm stronger. I'm the chosen one, bro. I'm stronger than you. What is it that you about to teach me?
It would be really interesting dynamic if it's okay, he's the hero of the Clone Wars, and it's you taught me, but I've surpassed you in such a short period of time.
I love that.
I feel like their relationship would be way more contentious than it'd be like brothers fighting as opposed to brothers coming together.
Yeah,
because I very much feel like there's a strong friendship between them. I don't know if with the age gap you'd be able to develop as strong a friendship as like Hayden and Ewan had with the age gap,
right.
But it would definitely maybe make it for a better story. But I think that part of what makes it so tragic is the love between the two of them. So, you know, I think that there's different dynamics going there, and you'd have to toe the line pretty close. But it's such an interesting concept to think about, and I really appreciate your choices there.
I appreciate you. What's up? You only have one Anakin, right?
I only have one Anakin, yeah.
All right, well, let's do your Anakin, because I would hate for my plan B to be your plan A. So I'll let you go.
All right, this is it's an interesting one. When I went to cast this person, so believe it or not, and I feel like this is true. I feel like I've heard it enough times, but there is a painting called The Fallen Angel by Alexander Cabanel. Okay. And it was what George based his like how he wanted Anakin to look. There's like a very specific look. While Google it while I'm kind of going through my thing here.
I got you.
But it's just
the fallen angel.
Yeah, it should just do painting. It'll come right up. But like the look on his face is just like, you're like, oh wow, okay, I can see Anakin in there. So
shit. Yeah, that's dope.
I wanted to cast someone who I felt like had that vibe going on. And
I feel like your plan A might have been my plan B.
Ironically, I was in a movie theater watching one of their films recently.
Mm-hmm.
And the big joke going around was that whenever they got angry, they couldn't take him seriously. This man is not just a legend. No, he's a legend for things outside of movies.
Okay. All right, so we might not have picked the same person, but I'm excited. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Because his career in music has taken off past superstardom. I'm casting Harry Styles.
Oh,
as Anakin Skywalker.
Okay.
A lot of it is off of
Thanos' little brother. All right.
A lot of it is coming from his performance in Don't Worry, Darling, and I think that's why the Florence Pugh thing was my alternate. And I was like, they had a good dynamic in that film, actually.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I like that.
And I feel like I broke a rule because I was like, I really haven't seen him in too much, but I liked what I saw in that movie, so I didn't watch Dunkirk in preparation for this. I probably should have watched the whole film.
He was good.
But I watched a few of his things, or a few of his scenes from that movie, and I was like, holy shit, this man definitely can portray the mood swings of Anakin Skywalker. And I thought it'd be really interesting to put him and John David Washington together, because I do feel
that would
like,
be an interesting dynamic. That would be. I like that. Because they're like kind of like fresh actors in a way. It wasn't their main thing. They have that in common, and for them to come in and kind of like be new faces of the franchise to me was an interesting concept. The age difference between Harry and Marion it's 19 years, so that's why I was like, I don't know if that like quite fits. Like it'd be like a fantasy world to have them like be kind of like the romantic love interests in this context. So it didn't quite fit, but I just felt very confident that he could be a really good. He's kind of like I hate to say it, but pretty boy Anakin, but could definitely like get to those dark and gritty places that Hayden Christensen goes, and hopefully carry the same type of weight. And I would love to see his flip. I think that's the thing that really strikes me in Hayden's performance is his facial acting to Robert Pattinson as well. I think I would want more vocal from a Harry Styles performance. Yeah. That's a good point. I could see that.
And I think that he could bring the level of anger. I don't know why. I went to go see Don't Worry, Darling, and every time he yelled, there was a bunch of like teeny boppers laughing through the entire scene. And I was like, I don't get what they're laughing at. I think he's doing a fine job. Like we said earlier on this episode, I think it's hard to take people seriously when they're screaming, but I could take him seriously when he was screaming, just like Michael Shannon. So I would,
and I think a lot of that has to go to too. So I wouldn't say like I don't have an issue with One Direction. Like I get that they were dope. Like I like One Direction songs. I definitely like them separately more, like Harry and Zayn. Like I like them definitely outside of the group, but I was a One Direction appreciator. I was not and am not a One Direction fan. So like it was easy for me to accept him acting, because like I hadn't been watching him sing for years. So it was just like, I guess for the kids who like grew up with him singing, that's like a weird thing. Like, oh, he's trying to be serious. Like he laughs and has fun. And Harry Styles, like, you know, if you ever seen like videos of his tours, he's a very bubbly person. Like, you know, bright colors, dancing, like having a lot of fun, laughing on stage. So I would imagine people who are used to seeing him in that light, and then he's like young, it's just like, huh, he don't yell. Harry don't yell.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, so my plan B wasn't that. And also, interestingly enough, in real life, my backup plan, it has the same thing as to why you didn't want to do Marion and Harry, because the age difference. His spouse in real life is considerably older than him. I don't know what the age difference is, but they make it work. The person I picked for my plan B, the reason why I didn't stick with them for my plan, because I feel like it was such an easy layup. I feel like it was like, if you just like, if the call sheet went out and he showed up, it's just like, oh, he don't even need to audition. Like, you know, like attractive actor, good shape, action star, can do the action scenes, can act his ass off. From my plan B, which I feel like is just, you know, like on paper, the perfect Anakin Skywalker, I picked Aaron Tyler Johnson. He's in the Nolan B.
Am I high?
He was in Tenet. He played Eames.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he was the guy at the end of the movie. He was just like, "We're all."
Oh fuck! You're right. Yes. Oh, he's good. Small role, but he's good in that film.
Yeah. And I love him as an actor. Like I enjoy. I'm torn about him being Craven. Don't know how I feel about it. Like
I just hate that. It feels like Sony doesn't know what to do with that universe, and it's like you guys can have Spider-Man 2. There's nothing stopping you. But yeah. It's the Madam Web thing is the most unique thing I think they've done with.
I will say I did not expect that. Like I don't know what I thought Madam Web was going to be. Did not think it was going to be that, and I'm not mad at it.
No, me either.
Not mad. I don't know if I'm gonna see it.
It's oddly the most excited I've been for any of their movies since I still haven't seen the first or second Venom. I could care less.
Out there
until I know that they're going to actually fight. Like until Tom Hardy fights Tom Holland, I don't know if I'll ever give those movies the time of day.
You're literally missing nothing.
Yeah. And you know, as much as Morbius is I guess a cult classic at this point.
Is it? Because he definitely doesn't say it's Morbin time. Spoiler alert for people who thought that really happened. But yeah, I just feel like on paper, Aaron Tyler Johnson's like what you would go for if you were trying to cast Anakin Skywalker
today.
Like, yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah, I think there is definitely a case to be made for him, but I like your Pattinson.
Oh, you know, Robert Pattinson is like
there was a brief period of time where Timothée Chalamet crossed my mind.
Timothée, my fucking guy,
because he's Matthew McConaughey's a younger version of Matthew McConaughey's son in Interstellar.
Yeah, hell yeah, yep.
So that had crossed my mind, but I definitely thought when I came across the Harry Styles thing, I was like, this could be really fun. Actually,
no, I like that a lot. Actually,
I thought it worked.
It does. But yeah, like I said, my Aaron Tyler Johnson was just like on paper, like, all right, young, athletic build, you know, he definitely would be able to fuck up being a Jedi. Like, he would body, you know, slinging around a lightsaber for sure. And he is a good actor. I feel like he's a bit on the shorter side. Yeah. So it's just like, I know that might be like a thing. Like, in terms of like, you know, him being on the battlefield fighting droids and shit, they'd have to like descale the droids for height preferences. But yeah, like that was just like my backup plan. Like when he was like when I first like thought like, all right, who would look good in the part of Anakin? I was like, oh yeah, Aaron Tyler Johnson would look great as like Anakin Skywalker. But then when I was like, all right, I want to put some nuance into these thoughts, that's when I ended up with our man Battinson, baby. That's the guy.
Yeah, well, we've done it. We have officially recasted everybody.
We casted them all.
The OT to the ST to the PT.
Hey.
any like closing thoughts on this mini series that we've done?
That was fun.
That was a good time.
That was fun.
I enjoyed myself. I hadn't thought that far ahead, but of course.
For the morning? Like the sleep? Yeah. Oh, man. Lil Dicky need to sponsor this podcast, bro. We're keeping your name alive in between seasons of Dave since you don't make music anymore.
Yeah, that or we need to get a pillow sponsor and just call it Pillow Talking with Andy. Are you okay?
Man. what a sponsorship. I'm here for it, man. Manifest. Nah, but I had a lot of fun with these. I've enjoyed this thoroughly. We got to do some more stuff like this. I know we got the Christmas special that I totally forgot that we did coming out. We got that. We got the SWA draft.
Yeah, I'm excited
First
for that
annual
one.
SWA draft.
Plus, we love
out.
having Siebes back. So
I'm excited about it. We still got Jedi Temple Challenge on the horizon.
Yeah, I feel like we keep teasing that one, but it's like we're literally just trying to find the best way to do it.
That's facts. That's
we
facts.
Can fucking like really knock that one out of the park.
We promise we're not stringing you guys along. We're trying to like execute here.
Yeah. We just want to make sure we do it right.
Exactly. We don't want to do it like just to do it and it fucking come out and look like we phoned it in. We don't want to do that. We want it to be fun. We want it to be fun for everybody.
And I'm sure we'll have our opportunities to talk about some Star Wars news as it comes out. Now that the strike is over, I really feel like we should be seeing more things. I'm not going to link it anywhere, but the Andor teaser is out there. I've seen
spoilers. That's a spoiler warning. Double entendre. Don't ask me how.
Yeah, seriously. But I normally don't recommend going out of your way to go find. You should watch. I want to watch that shit in HD. Like, it killed me that we didn't. The Ahsoka teaser from Celebration never made its way to the public. They actually cut a whole like different trailer by the time they got to it. So I don't know if this one is ever going to see the light of day. So I guess get it while they're getting.
I was saying, I mean, technically it did. Technically, it has seen the light of day.
just not in high definition, I guess.
Right.
So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, there's so much coming on the horizon. We have no idea when Skeleton Crew's coming out. Bad Batch is coming out in 2024. So lots to talk here on Annie. Are You Okay?
A Star Wars podcast.
Matt, where can they find you?
The important places, you can find me here with my good buddy, the human holocron, Darth Plagueis the Wise himself, getting into all types of Star Wars shenanigans on a trying to be weekly basis. I feel like we've been doing pretty good.
Is it
It's shenanigans, but I like to say shenanigans.
We'll call them Shmianakins.
Oh, Shmianakins.
Oh my God, you're right.
That's the name of this episode. Yes, getting into all the Star Wars Shmianakins with my good buddy, Mikey. Mikey the illest. When I'm not here, you can always catch me and our good buddy Troto Trav over on our sister podcast, the Dragon Ball for Life podcast, DB Fo L Fo Life Dodon Ray, and that is going to be DB4L_pod on both Instagram and Twitter. And then you can just search Dragon Ball for Life. That's the number 4, not spelled out, on Facebook. YouTube page, it's coming. That's all we can say. It's on the way. We have all the shit that we want to put on the YouTube. It's just about finding time to upload each and every one of them damn videos that we made for the past 2 years onto these 2 pages. But it's gonna get there. It's gonna get done. But yeah, DB4L_pod on Instagram, Twitter, Dragon Ball for Life, number 4, not spelled out, all separate words. So Dragon Ball, number 4, and Life. And you can find us on Facebook. We're new there, so engage with us. Like, subscribe, 5-star reviews, please. That good shit.
The reviews help big time. You don't have to necessarily write something, but if you feel so inclined, please tell the people why you love listening to Annie, Are You Okay? You can find
Star Wars podcast.
Annie, Are You Okay? Pod at Annie, Are You Okay? Pod. The letters ANIRU OK POD on Instagram and Twitter. That's where you can find me. You can also find me and Matt by going there. I'm at Mikey _ the illest, and he is _ menace, the number 2 sobriety on Instagram. That is where we are the most active, despite us always saying that we're going to try and be more active everywhere else. That has been the final episode of Recast'em I Hardly Know. Matt, hit him with the outro. Let's get out of here.
All right, Animaniacs, with all the Shmianakins. Never forget, it could be the prequels, it could be the sequels, it could be all 3 versions of the trequels. Is that a word? Trequel is a word, right? Yeah, trequel's a word. Fuck it.
It is now.
Yeah. The Lord of the Rings trequel. Yeah, it's definitely a word. Doesn't matter if it's Luke, Obi-Wan, Shmi, Sheev, BB-8, BD-1, Jar Jar, the Gungans, the AT-ATs, the AT-STs, Finn, Poe, Leia, Han, doesn't matter. Could even be Rey. Life can be a beach, but as long as there's no sand, always remember, Annie's gonna be okay.
Be okay. May the force be with you.
And with you. Later, nerds.
Deuces.
Bow.